Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode numero tres of Lily and
Woohoo!
Jenn's Spooky Den. And
We made it 3
today we're
episodes.
gonna cover today we're going to cover spooky places that we've worked at. So anything haunted in the workplace. I'm sure people have had crazy stories about their workplaces and uh, the paranormal. I know
I
I've
definitely have a
I've
few.
only really yeah, I know you do, girl. Oh my goodness. I've only like heard a bit of one and I was like, okay, we gotta save this. I mean, I don't have a lot to go on today, but we did kind of want to talk about how we met as well,
hmm
because I think that kind of ties in with the workplace.
Yeah. So I'm Jen, and I work at a retail store currently, but we both started working at this place, same place. And I believe I've been working there for forever, but I went away for a year to a different location, and then when I came back, Lily was working at the location that I started at, and
Ta-da!
ta-da! And we got along pretty well, I would say at first, and
Yeah,
not like close friends or anything, but like we it's work. It's
yeah.
like I think when I came back I didn't know anybody and I was like, "Oh my God. I think I only knew like the original people and they were like, not working the same schedule as me. Everybody was new to me and I was like, this is crazy." So I was a little bit shy and uh not I don't know, putting myself out there as much. But
Mhm.
um yeah, and do you want to continue? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say.
yeah,
I know like you worked there for I
yeah.
think I
Because I
came back
could.
in like September. So
Yeah, because I
September,
started
October.
working in like late September, maybe early October. All right. So, of course, I'm Lily, and I was also working at that same retail store. I just started um, sometime like either really late September or early October back in 2021. And yeah, again, Jen and I like we liked each other. We weren't like super close or anything like that. And it was just kind of funny how things fell into place,
Mhm.
and actually, it was a little more recently. Um, of course, over time, we got to know each other, and we grew, and we came, you know, closer. Again, it
Mhm.
wasn't like this is my forever life bestie,
My
like
bestie.
oh my god,
Wait, are
hey
you telling me now that
girl.
we're not besties? What the heck?
No, girl, I mean like right back
No, I
back
know.
when like yeah back when anyways, and so it was just like this, hey, how you doing, like hang out, shoot the shit in between times. And after I had left to pursue vet med and all of that fun stuff, um we hadn't really seen each other for probably half a year or more, and only just every once in a while when I would swing into the store to pick
Mhm.
something up. um, and recently this summer, it was kind of the same scenario where I just stopped in and whatnot to grab something, and we just started chit chatting. And
It's crazy.
oh my God, the
Crazy.
connection. I don't know what happened in the universe that day,
I don't either.
but something was going on.
Yeah.
Did you want to finish it off?
uh,
That's crazy.
so so yeah, so I'm at work and Lily comes in and she's dressed all fancy. And I forget what you came in looking for, but it doesn't matter. Um but I'm in my department and she comes over and she starts talking to me and she's like, I forget the exact wording, so forgive me. If you remember, please chime in because I
Yeah,
just
yeah, I know
remember
you're
like
good.
um
I think I was about to go because my husband wanted to go watch a comedy show.
Yeah.
in Rhode Island. And so I was in there trying to pick up boxer briefs for him, and I was like,
Yes.
I don't know what I'm looking for.
Yes, so I was like, I was gonna help you with that, and then we were talking, and I don't know, we talked for like 20, 25 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
But at some point, you were like, "Girl, what are you still doing here? What are you still working here for?" And I was like, "'Cause I need to and need money and whatever." And you were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, I always thought you'd like, I don't know, work at like a haunted place or do something paranormal wise or whatever."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Are you kidding?" Because I legitimately for like a couple weeks beforehand was like thinking about starting a podcast and having it being a paranormal podcast and whatever, and then like starting a paranormal group and going to like haunted places and things like that. And I was like thinking about it, but I was like, oh, I don't really have anybody to like, do this with. None of my friends are really that into it, so I was like, oh, I don't know how this is going to work if it's just me. And even went to bed one day and I was thinking about starting the podcast, and I was like, all right, well, a couple people said they'd help me with one, but like they didn't want to be like, too involved in it. And I was like, come on,
Mhm.
how is this supposed to happen? But I went to bed one night and then woke up the next day, and I had a dream about it or something. And then I remember waking up, and before I even grabbed my phone, I was like, please, I need a sign. I need a sign from the universe that I need to start this podcast. I just need one little sign, one sign. That's all I'm asking for. And so I grabbed my phone and I open it, and first notification is a notification from Twitter from a paranormal investigator researcher that I follow. And he was like, hey, if you're in Massachusetts, I'm going to be in this location giving a lecture on how to start your own podcast. Or if you have a podcast, how to improve it. And I was like, that's the sign. So I was like, I I definitely need to start this podcast. That's crazy. So I already had it in my head like a few days before you even came in. And then when you're talking
Yes.
to me and you were like, "Oh yeah, no, I thought you'd work at a haunted place like the Lizzie Borden house or I don't know, doing
Mhm.
investigations or something," and you even a podcast, and then like, I got chills in my body, and I was like, are you kidding me? I legitimately have been thinking about starting a podcast. And she was like, oh, uh, yeah, okay. And then you were just like, wait, I'll do it with you. And I was like, uh,
Yes.
what?
Cause
Like,
yes, oh my goodness,
yeah.
I love sharing my stories about the paranormal and my connection with the paranormal and just being super spiritual and
Hmm.
sensitive to stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I don't have anybody to talk to about it either, so I got so excited. And then I remember we started talking about the Lizzie Borden house because I was like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I worked at a time or for a time rather, for the U.S. Ghost Adventures, and we went to Lizzie Borden House, and I had some pretty cool stuff happen there. And then Jen was like, you know, I don't know if you believe it or not, but I don't think Lizzie did it. And I was like, no way, because when I walked in there and I was like, going through the house, I also got that feeling. And I didn't feel like Lizzie's presence was really there at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
just got, by the way, just got chills again when you were saying that because I was remember that because we were both like, that's so weird. And I forget what we said, but at the same time, we both got full body chills and
Full
like
body chills, and we're
goosebumps.
like comparing our
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah, we really got goosebumps. We were looking at our arms. We're like, oh my God, we're literally, what is this? And it's like a click. And it just like, I can't even explain it. And I think it was you that you were like, yo, we should do something like this, or we should do paranormal
Mhm.
investigating or like podcast or something. And I was like, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, and
So
hence why we are here talking to you
yeah,
guys
yeah,
today.
that is the gist of it. But it was like everything came together in that one moment, and I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This has to happen. So
I don't think it could have unfolded any more perfectly, to be honest.
I really don't either. Especially to have both of us get like, chills at the same time, and we're both like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
this is!" We got
Yeah.
so excited about it. It's just crazy that it just happened like that.
We were on the
But
same
yeah,
astral plane, you know?
yeah, we just aligned correctly, and we just went for it.
Yeah.
But
And then we also went to see that new Conjuring movie in
oh
theater.
yes,
What
yes,
was it, a week after? Maybe not
yeah.
even a week.
Oh wait,
Um,
wait. So we had that interaction in the beginning of August, right? I think
yeah.
because by mid August had gone to the beach and we were talking about it and we were like, oh, we should
That's
like
right, yes.
that idea that we had that I don't want to share with anyone in case we actually try to do it, but
So many fun
yeah,
things.
yeah, I know, so many things we're gonna think. But yeah, so we went to the beach and then we were talking about that and then we were like, oh, we should actually think of things to do for the podcast and whatever. And then we got together a couple times, but we went to go see the new Conjuring movie. And I think we're
Mhm.
going to talk in another episode about the Conjuring altogether. So we'll talk
Mhm.
about the movie
You
and
could
whatever.
say we were conjuring up stuff at the beach.
Yes. That's a good way to put that.
Oh my god, it was a perfect day too. We were like,
I
oh
know.
man, talking about our spooky podcast in the
Yeah.
sunshine and shades on and ice
Exactly.
cream in our hand.
Oh, that ice
Like,
cream was so good. The orange Dole Whip or
yes.
whatever it was. Oh, so good. Like one of
Yeah.
the
Oh,
favorite things
the
I ever made.
pineapple Dole Whip.
Oh, pineapple Dole Whip. Yeah. That
Oh
that was
god,
so
my
good.
favorite.
Yeah, so good. I love that. And then I got that scary ass sunburn and it was just oh that was it's so funny, honestly. I still have marks from it and I'm like, that's too funny.
You do?
Um yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because it turned into a tan, so now my stomach has a big round circle of a tan on it, and the rest of me is white. So
At least it's something.
yeah, I know, but
Yeah,
not
right.
what I wanted. But
Uh,
it'll fade. It fades fast. Pretty. I don't know. It's been since August, so I doubt it's gonna fade. But whatever. Um. But yeah, that was just so much fun. And then yeah, and then we've been talking since and planning stuff and
mhm.
yeah, this is the birth of the podcast here. So
Yes. And now I would
yeah.
say we're pretty freaking close after that first initial spark interaction, and now
Mhm.
we're getting it done.
Yeah. Yeah,
And of
because
course, my husband's skeptical and everything of the paranormal, so he doesn't understand.
he
But
doesn't
I will
understand.
say we did have one moment at the Lucy Borden house that was, you could not explain what happened. I mean, objects were moving by themselves, and we seen it happen with our own eyes. And
Hmm.
so he was like, "Okay, that was real. That was cool." But I don't know if
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about that one first because that you did technically used to work there. So,
Oh yeah, that's fair. Why
yeah.
not?
Yeah.
All right. So it was actually my first day working for the US Ghost Adventures. And I was just kind of learning the ropes, where things were. So they gave us EVPs, REM pods, and oh my gosh, a million things. Cat balls, like dinner bell kind of thing, dowsing rods. I could go on and on and on about the list that they had there. And if anybody's interested in going to Lizzie Borden House, obviously it's in Fall River. Um, it's amazing. It really truly is
Oh, by
amazing.
the
It's
way, we're
like
from
a whole different
Massachusetts.
feeling. Yeah. Yeah,
We're
so
from
I only
Massachusetts.
lived an hour from the Lizzie Borden place.
Yeah.
Um I
Figured we
feel
should
like
mention that.
I feel like the road there is so misleading. Like, while you're driving down it, you're like, okay, where's this house? I thought it's just going to be standing by itself. No, absolutely not. And it's kind of like in an industrial area,
Hmm.
which is really odd to me. I don't know.
Yeah, because there's
It
tons of
was my
businesses
first
around
time
there.
going. Um, But yeah, so they have like this little gift shop and everything that you basically start your tour on and all of that fun jazz. It's like the meeting place, ending place kind of thing. And so my tour guide slash trainer was showing me all of the fun stuff behind the desk, and it was already an eerie feeling in that little shed, I guess you could call it, behind the house. The yard was just eerie itself as well. And so we finally move on and we grab our group and we're going on our tour. And mostly at the front of the Lizzie Borden house and the cafe next to it that used to be another house back in the day, which was their neighbor's place. I could go on about that.
Mhm.
Um, anyhow, I just felt really uneasy and like I was being watched. And so, about an hour as we're walking down through the town and whatnot, and we finally make it back to the house, we go inside. The second we step inside, I kid you not, full body chills. An electric jolt went up my spine. And I'm sitting in that first parlor room to the left of the door when you walk in. And I thought I had seen a shadow walk by the living room area toward the dining room. And so as our night's going on, our our guide slash again my trainer handed us equipment and he was like, so this is pretty much the gist of what we do in a day. You can have fun and use equipment to go ghost hunting yourself. So I was like, okay, cool. And of course I was allowed to bring one guest for free on my um training whatever. So it was my husband, of course, because your girl has no friends. um, so it was my husband, and I brought him, and it was just so weird. We started in the basement, and I kid you not, like I just felt so odd in there. I felt like I was being watched. I was kind of being ushered out. I was not supposed to be down there. And he showed us some part of the wall. I'm sure there is like Sam and Colby have been there at some point, and I'm sure they've pointed it out as well. Um, I don't think I've ever watched their video on Lizzie Borden House if they've ever made one.
I
Um,
believe they did. It was a couple years ago. I can
oh,
double check
okay,
that
yeah.
though.
So then I'm sure they covered that in there. But there's a face that mysteriously appeared in the brick wall in the basement. And so I'm sitting across from that with my husband in one of the chairs, and we have the REM pod on the floor, kind of like a few feet in front of us, so it's not going off. It can't go off with movement and whatnot. And I also have the EMF detector. And I made sure our phones were off and put away and all of that so that wouldn't go off as well. And that one kept going off pretty rapidly. And the REM pod actually had gone off many times. And so, again, my husband, being a skeptic, is like, well, maybe it's just supposed to go off automatically. It's on a timed thing. And I'm like, no, no, no. You have to touch this. This is electromagnetic kind of thing. You don't just you don't just have it set on a timer and it goes off. That's not how that works. You have to touch it. And again, he's not convinced because why would he be? Anyways, so we start asking questions and I have not an EVP, but something very similar that can pull up words and all of that fun stuff. Kind of like a voice box. Um, anyhow, so it just kept being like out, away, and I kid you not, all of my hairs on my arms stood up, and I felt like I needed to get out of there. It just got really, really weird. Um, Again, the REM pod started going off like crazy. The MF detector started going off like crazy. and I just didn't feel comfortable down there. And
Yeah.
personally, I think because I have been so familiar with different entities before, I don't think that entity was part of the household. I don't think that entity was human. I don't think it ever was human. Um, and so I left. I got out of the basement and I looked at my husband and I was like, I don't want to be down here anymore. Let's go somewhere else in the house. And for some reason, the place I felt most comfortable was in that living room area where the father slash husband was killed. And I, so he was weird. Um, that I did have a lot of interaction with, not so much on the hunting equipment, but more so myself. Like, I don't know how else to describe that, but
Personal type of
yeah.
feeling or
Yeah, that and also I can't necessarily say that I saw him, but I could sense his spirit. He really wanted to avoid me. I don't know for what reason, but he was like, absolutely not. Tried to be in the most avoidance he could possibly be.
avoidance,
um,
huh?
yeah, I was like, dang, I don't know why I scare you so much, bro. I'm just this little girl, okay? Like with my
Yeah, I
hair
know who he's
extensions
scared of
in at the
you.
time. Come on now. Um anyways, so he wanted nothing to do with me. He wanted nothing to do with my ghost equipment cuz I mean, we had it set up on the floor. We had an array of things. The other group was still down in the basement doing their thing and we can hear their voices every once in a while, but um and so I'm watching with my eyes, but sensing, sensing his spirit kind of. So he started out near the middle of the living room when I walked into it. And again, he pushed himself away. And I tried to go over in the corner where he was trying to push himself away to. And then he goes kind of up towards the roof. And then he kind of comes back and down and around and stands over by one of the shelves. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just leave you alone because obviously you don't want me near you. So I just set myself on the couch across from the one he supposedly had been murdered on. And I'm just kind of hanging out. And eventually I make my way to the floor and just sit on the floor. And we're using dowsing rods to talk at this time. And I kept asking questions about the murder and all of that. And, of course, I came to the conclusion, oh, I feel like Lizzie's presence is, she's not here. Is that true? And it crossed yes. And then I asked, I don't believe that Lizzie committed the murder. Is that true? And then it said yes.
Yep.
And so, yeah. And then I was like, huh, okay, maybe my hunch is correct. And so I go into being like, okay, did Bridget, the maid, commit the murder? And it said yes. And so then I'm like, okay, three yeses in a row. That's a little weird. I'm going to try to trick it. And so I asked a couple more questions. One said no, another one said yes, and no. It was a mixed answer kind of thing. So I don't think I could have gotten three yeses in a row for no reason, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, anyhow, the night's wearing on. We're getting really no activity at all in that living room. Again, he did not, this father spirit did not want anything to do with me. He wanted nothing to do with speaking or making himself known. He was very much private.
Yeah.
um, so I didn't want to bother him anymore. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll meander around. So I grabbed the EMF detector and then I'm trying to space stuff out now at this time. And I put the EMF detector in the doorway from the living room and into the dining room. And I'm just kind of like roaming around the dining room, looking at all of the photos and artifacts and whatnots. And then I hear the dinner bell rang. The heck? So I not necessarily bolt, but kind of sprint, jumped to the doorway to look through, and my husband's falling asleep in the chair in there. I look at him and I go, "Did you just hear that?" He was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Are you falling asleep?" "Yeah." Oh my god. Again, because he's totally like, not into like the paranormal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, "You do realize that you have to tap that for that to go off?" He goes, "Okay." So I'm sitting there, "Okay? When you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, again, you have to tap that for it to go off." He's not impressed at all. So I'm getting frustrated. So I sit back down on the couch in there, and after a couple more minutes, the EMF detector starts going off in the doorway. And I'm like, "Oh, that's so funny because that's where I felt that spirit was just hanging out, was more so in the doorway of that room. Again, trying to be away from me, but not necessarily wanting to leave that area. Almost kind of like comfort zone for him, I suppose."
Mm-hmm.
And it was so weird. So it's almost midnight now. If not, it actually was midnight. And the tour guide had walked in for a brief moment to see how our investigations were coming along and all of that fun stuff. And we were all just kind of chatting for a minute. And he goes to walk out to check on the other group. And he accidentally kicks one of the cat balls. So, of course, it lights up and it's rolling around on the floor. And we're like, "Oh, whatever, it's totally fine." And we put it back and it stops lighting up and all that stuff. Anyways, so supposedly there's a ghost cat in that house that I had learned about once I got there. I didn't even know there was a ghost cat there. Anyways, so after maybe not even a full minute, it's probably been 30 seconds. It felt longer to me only because we were just waiting for something to happen and we were both tired and starting to get drowsy. And of course, I'm still having like a good time. I'm enjoying it. But I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting sleepy." And that freaking cat ball starts lighting up. It didn't roll anywhere. It stayed in place, but it starts lighting up. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And then I smack my husband. I go, "Do you see that?" He's like, "Yeah, I see it." Again, he's not really impressed by it. Hmm. It's never lit up this whole time, so that's different. That's new. Um, and I of course I'm already getting excited, and then it turns back off for I don't know 4 or 5 seconds, lights back up, and now I'm getting really excited because this is the second time it's lit up.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes off 4 or 5 seconds later, and I'm like, "I will flip if this ball goes across the room. I want to see this ball go across this room." Not even like, I don't know, 6 or 7 seconds after I say that, it starts rolling across the floor. I was so excited. You should have seen me. I was like jumping out of the couch, excited.
I would have been there too.
Yeah. And at this time, my husband's like, "Okay, that was pretty cool. I can't really explain that. There's no strings attached. That thing just rolled across a flat surface
Yeah, how do you
by
attach a
itself."
string to the ball to a cat ball?
Yeah, right,
Those
right.
are all
And
it's like smooth plastic one, right?
yeah, yep, it was one of those little clear plastic things. Again, you would see a string if there was one on there,
Yeah.
but the direction it rolled was towards us, so neither of us were holding anything. Again, it would have been obvious if we were. And I went over and picked it up afterwards because it had stopped doing stuff after that. I feel like the cat just tapped it a few times after seeing it roll across the room after the tow guide had kicked it,
Mm-hmm.
and I got interested in it after that and then started playing with it for a little bit. So that was probably the coolest thing that I've had happen while working. Most exciting thing, rather, that
Yeah.
I've had happen while technically working.
I was like, it's a pretty
Um,
cool place to work, so
yeah, yeah. And it was so funny. That was the last thing that we did before we had to turn in all of our equipment and head home for the night. And it was roughly around 12:15. It was late. We had
yeah.
Taco Bell after, but I was still thinking about the spirits.
That sounds like a good night to me.
It was a good night. I was kind of bummed though that we couldn't go upstairs because there was guests staying. So
Oh, well, still,
yeah, maybe
that
another time.
yeah. I was like, maybe one day we'll rent out the whole thing and stay there.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Okay, so one of my work stories. So I'm gonna do both stories that are from um, let's just call it job A, um,
Mhm.
and the place we met. um, so one story. Let me think. I don't remember how long after I started working there, but it was like the same first year that I was working there, and it was probably about 6 months, maybe. Yeah, maybe about 6 months later. I don't really remember, but one of my
Mhm.
coworkers had passed away, and he was a sweet, 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 sweet old guy, and he was so helpful and helping me with everything, and it was just,
Mm.
you know, one of the sweetest old people I've ever met. I don't know how to put that, but one of the sweetest guys and elderly people that I've ever met in my life. And he was very helpful. And even when he felt like he couldn't walk anymore, he was always there to help me out. So he had passed away, and his wife, I believe, still worked there. So he was always helping me out and everything. So he had passed away, and I was really upset about it. And first of all, because nobody told me for days, so I was very upset about it because I had a few days off after it had happened, and then when I came back, people were talking about it, and I was like, wait, what happened? And they told me finally, and I was like, oh,
Oh.
okay. And I was super upset about it. And I remember going to lunch that day, and I was sitting across from one of my coworkers, who I'm not going to name, but her name begins with an M. And she was sitting on one side of the table, and I was sitting on the other side of the table, and we're just in our own worlds. I think I was either reading a book or looking at my phone, and she was also reading the paper or looking at her phone or something. So we weren't really talking or paying attention or anything. And then we both happened to look up to like say something to each other, and we both saw out of the corner of our eye a misty white swirl. And we
Oh my
both turned our
gosh.
heads over in that direction, and then both looked back at each other like, you just saw that, right? I was like, yeah,
Dude.
I saw it. She goes, yeah, I saw it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she just goes, hi, Mr. Bill, welcome back, or whatever. And I was like, yeah, hi, Bill.
Welcome to work.
Yeah.
Even in the afterlife, you're
Yeah.
still
I
here.
was like, you can't leave us
You could be
alone, can you?
anywhere.
But you decided to be here. That's cool. But yeah, so that was like a really weird. It happened and we both saw it at the same time, and we were like, okay, so that confirms that. um and then yeah, so then after that we didn't really see anything or hear anything. And it's been pretty quiet over that way, except for random little things here and there that I can't really
Mhm.
pinpoint. But I can pinpoint it was only about a couple months ago, honestly.
Whoa.
It was earlier this year. I'll call her M as well.
Mhm.
My coworker M. Um, she was in the back room, and I was in the back room, and I had gone to over where my bins of stuff are to put onto the floor, and over there, and she comes in the back room, and I look up at her, and I go, oh my God. And she goes, what? And I was like, did are you the only one that came back here? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, no way. And she goes, what? And she looks behind her, and I go, there has to be somebody else back here. And I walked past her and over to the back steps that lead up to the back door.
Hmm.
And I'm looking all over the place, and I'm like, hello, hello, hello. Who's back here? Who's back here? Who's back? She's like staring at me like I've got 10 heads. And I was just like, and I looked at her and she goes, what? And I go, I saw a full on shadow come up these stairs. And she goes, yeah, bye. And she started away. And I go, no, no, no. I swear. I go, there's nobody else back here. And I go, but when I looked up and looked at you, at your head, right behind you, there was a shape of a person, shadow, walking up the stairs. And she goes, okay, uh,
Like, is it too late to go
okay.
home?
Yeah, she's like, I don't know how to react to that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I do either. And I'm just sitting there contemplating life. I was like, what did I just see? Like, because I've like seen things before, but like out of the corner of my eye
Yeah.
or quickly glance or whatever. But this was the first time I've seen a shadow figure. I've seen it. I can't say a full body shadow figure
Hmm.
is the first time I've seen one of those that I physically actually looked at and was like, whoa. And then I was like, well,
Yeah.
where's the person? If that's the
That
shadow,
is
where's the person?
crazy.
So I was like, oh, that's insane. So
That is pretty nuts. I would have been
yeah.
scared if I was M.
Yeah, no. She was kind of like, "Yep, you're crazy. I'm leaving." And I was like, "Yeah, everyone thinks I'm crazy now. That's cool." But yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was pretty wild because like
That's
there's
pretty cool though.
at one point I was actually ghost hunting and I saw a face, but I only saw the face for like 2 seconds and then it went away, and I was like,
Where
"Whoa!"
was it? At the workplace?
Not at my workplace, but it was when I was ghost hunting in the old jail in
Oh
Barnstable.
shoot, yeah. We gotta talk about
Yeah.
that too.
Oh, we'll
Some
talk
other
about
time.
that in some other time because that is some crazy shit. But yeah. Um but that's the only other time I've seen a clear as day. I know what that is. That was a face and then this was a shadow of a person.
Yeah.
Like it was a person shadow. And I was like there's no doubt in my mind that
Wild.
that was what it was. And I was like that's what it took me 5 minutes to search the back room and be like, okay, I guess there's nobody back here. That's
Yeah.
that's crazy. But yeah, she was looking at me the whole time I'm looking around, and she's like, "The fuck is going on?" Because I'm just like, "Wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait, 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 wait." But yeah, it was pretty wild. But
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
yeah, so yeah, those are my two from my current one of my current jobs. But
Yes.
I don't know
All
if you
right.
want. Oh, by the way,
Oh my
the Sam and
goodness.
Colby Lizzie Borden one was 4 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm gonna
so
say I feel like they would have done something like that.
yeah, they did. It says 4 years.
Sick.
It could be around 5 years. It could be because you know how the YouTube does like 4 years if it's like less than 5 years, like up until like the 5 year mark, it's like, oh, it's 4 years ago.
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah, I totally get it.
um,
Yeah.
so yeah. Okay, so do you want to do your next story? Okay.
Okay. For my second story, I had worked at a gas station. Different state. Sorry if there's background noise. My dog decided she was going to eat her food at this time. Anyways, I had worked at a gas station, a little town in Coldwater, Michigan, and there's a lot of historical background there. just in that town alone. And this gas station kind of sits off to the side, like one of the corners of um, kind of an not really a big intersection, but big enough intersection. Um, and it's sitting on this hill. And of course, I immediately thought that was a little odd for a placement. The gas station was fairly new. So while I was working there, I just felt strange. I felt like there was things always watching me. Just being outside cleaning the gas pumps at freaking 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning when there's like nobody there. Sometimes I would be there super duper early and I'd be in there at 4 in the morning and I'm washing gas pumps. Anyways, and I'm like, oh, there's definitely something watching me. And again, nobody would be there. There's no cars. There's literally nothing. Anyways, there was an instance where my manager and I were there very early. It was probably, I don't know, 4:30, 4:45 in the morning. I had keys to the door. She also had keys to the door. She was there first. I joined her like 10 minutes after she had gone in. I'm counting the drawer. She was in her office and I look up and I swore I saw what was a person walking around in the lobby area. And how it was our desk was in the very middle of the gas station and you look forward and the doors are right there. The two very large swinging doors. So you can't miss somebody coming in and out of them. And it also made a sound when you walked through the doors. um To the left was where we had all of our drinks and refrigerators all on that wall. And of course, little aisles of candy and miscellaneous stuff, chips, all that good shit.
The good shit
um,
that's bad
on
for you.
the yeah, on the right, kind of more in the middle of the lobby was a salad bar. So we had biscuits and gravy in the morning. Oh my God, she's drinking. We had biscuits and gravy in the mornings. Again, salads and stuff. Little breakfast sandwiches on the hot rack and all of that, and little refrigerated area of food. More further to the right, and the coffee pots over there. So you named it, we had it. Anyways, so I'm like, how is there anybody here right now? And I was pretty convinced that it was just my manager and I there at the time. And so she comes up to hand me a couple penny rolls or something. And I looked at her and I go, I'm going to call her Jay. I go, Jay, there is nobody else here, right? She goes, "Ah, nobody. I would hope not. It's just me and you right now." And I go, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I just seen somebody walking around in the lobby. And of course, now she's all weirded out. She's like, huh.
As
Well,
one gets.
there have been, yeah. She's like, well, there have been stories about this gas station being haunted. And I was like, well, I'm starting to think those stories are true. um, and I don't know, about maybe 30 minutes go by. And at this time, we're expecting our cook to come in and start making those biscuits and gravy and start getting those out to the salad bar because we expect people to start coming in more around like 5 a.m., 5:30 in the morning. And as we're waiting for her to come in, we're both now up front chit chatting because we're like, well, that was weird, creepy, da 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 da. And now both of us don't want to be alone. um, and so we hear footsteps in the back. So we had a back door that was near a little car wash area. And again, you could access it from there. And it would lead you into the kitchen. There was a hallway that would lead you towards the office and like the back area where we kept all of our coats and all that. And it was pretty chilly outside, so we just figured, oh, I'll call her M. M's here. She's gonna go back and put her coat away and start getting to work. Um, no. Couple minutes go by, and then at this time I'm like, well, I was convinced somebody had walked in the back door. Did you hear that? She goes, yeah, I heard the door open and shut. I know, yeah, me too. And she goes, I'm that's weird. And I go, yeah. Yeah, that is. Because I heard footsteps too. And maybe a few minutes later goes by. We both watch this shadow go from where that kitchen area would be towards the office. We watch it walk past the doorway in the hall past us. And then we both look at each other. We're like, no, no. So now we're really hunkered in at the front desk.
Oh my god.
And so when M actually walked through the back doors, we were freaked the fuck out. We oh my gosh, you should have seen the look on her face when we were both like, "Oh my god. Thank God it's you." Because that back door was locked. Nobody could have walked through. It was just us. After we had mustered up the courage to like, go walking through the gas station, nobody else was there but us. We checked the bathrooms, we checked the freezer, we checked the walk-in fridge, all of that, all of it. Nobody else was there. And there was another time where one of my other maybe co-manager, anyways, she had been there for plenty years and she had lots of stories to tell about this place. So she ends up telling me some of the backstory about this gas station, and it used to be a Native American burial ground. Go figure.
So
And
fun.
so, yeah, I guess the town had gotten permission to build on top of the grounds, which honestly, I don't even know how that's legal. Especially yeah, especially because there was like, grave markers and all of that, not stones, but handmade wooden grave markers. And there's actually still one there today that stands up on the other side of the car wash in the very back of the building.
Damn. That always
um
boggles my mind when I hear stories about people building on top of burial grounds, and I'm like,
yeah.
what what goes through your head when you do that? Like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
how can you ugh, it makes me so
Yeah.
it makes
And
me so angry.
I know, and I'm pretty sure they didn't dig up the remains to move them either. I know some people do that,
Yeah.
depending on the area, the county, and all of that.
Mhm.
They'll dig them up and move the bones wherever they're placing the new cemetery or whatever.
Mhm.
Anyways, so there was one night. I'll call her L. Elle was standing in the car wash, and now in the wintertime gets cold and smokers still want to smoke.
Yeah.
So the car wash was temperature regulated on the inside, so they would usually just go in there. Of course, the big doors where the cars enter and exit would be closed and latched shut, and they would just go in through like actual walking doors. And so she was just standing in there and smoking a cig. And she goes, I swear to God, I start hearing humming and chanting. It definitely sounded Native American. And she goes, I stood there for about 45 seconds before I got scared shitless and left. Because at first she had thought, well, maybe it's somebody fucking with me from the outside. And then she started realizing you can't make that sound from the echoing sound that comes from that building from the outside. And she started putting it together that yes, this was definitely in there with her. So of course she throws out her cigarette. She's like, and she gets out of there and comes back inside all startled. I go, "Are you good?" No. She goes on to tell me the story. And so we both go back in there together at this point, and it had stopped, but it definitely felt eerie in there. And I could tell you about the closet that was attached to the car wash, also where all of the maintenance and stuff was in there, all of the switches and all that crap that we had to turn off at night. I hated going in there, especially at night. The end of my shift, it's about 10, 11 o'clock at night. And it's pitch black out there in the winter. And of course, you can turn on the light and stuff in there, but it's still so spooky. And
Oh,
because the door like self locks behind you,
yeah.
it was just even creepier because it's just this long hall of crowdedness. There, if something were to happen, you really couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't hide anywhere. There's only one door to go in and out of, and it was just creepy as hell. And I had gotten like the weirdest feelings in there, just super uneasy. And I didn't realize at that time that there was still a grave marker just on the other side of that wall
Ooh,
outside. Um, yeah, I
that's
found
fun.
that one out later on. That was spooky.
That's super fun.
But yeah, so that was not a good time. And that gas station only sat, I don't know, maybe a minute or two from two very large cemeteries
Hmm.
where old Civil War heroes, including a horse, was buried, and just civilians of all decades. And
Oh, that's where the
crazy,
horse
crazy,
was buried.
crazy. Yes.
Yeah, you told me about
If
that.
anyone's curious, his name is Old Sam, and you can look up his story at the Oak Grove Cemetery in Michigan, Coldwater, Michigan. So that's a really good read if anybody's interested in that.
Awesome. That that's that I remember you telling me that story. That was cute.
Yeah. So,
Um
so cute.
yeah, that I wouldn't want to be I could just imagine working at a gas station. I can't even
Yeah.
think of working at a gas station here with other people if it was like I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we've
I'm picturing
definitely
like
had stuff move that was weird, and some things fall that was strange, but nothing that I could be definitive of being, oh, this is a ghost. But those stories were 100%.
yeah.
Like, you can't make that shit up.
Yeah, that's creepy, man. I would hate to work at a gas station by myself or even with one or two
Dude.
other people. Like, yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
creepy. Creepy. I know people
We don't.
who've done that and can't do it. Can't do it. Not for me.
Yeah. Uh-uh.
All right. Okay. So we're going to refer to this as job B. It's my other current job, so I don't want to give it away. But there's been multiple instances of things we cannot explain at this place, and not only just by me, but by my coworkers, the managers, everybody. So
Yeah.
one actually happened last night when I was working. Um, I
No
am,
way.
yeah,
I
not
did it
gonna
just for
lie.
this video.
Really. Um, so I refer to the ghost there as Jerry. So when anything paranormal, weird, whatever happens, doesn't matter if it's a girl or a guy, kid
Mhm.
or an adult, whatever. I just refer to them as Jerry. Um,
God damn it, Jerry.
I literally, and so last night I was in the area where I work. Oh, this is gonna be so hard to explain without giving it away.
Yeah.
Let's just say putting something together, and
Hmm.
I put the staple gun down, and I put it down solid flat on the counter,
Hmm.
and went over to the other side, probably about 5 feet from where I put the thing down, and I
Yeah.
was wrapping up what I was doing, and I hear this noise behind me, and I turn around just to see the staple gun turning over,
Oh, hell no.
and I was like,
Do you plan
uh,
on using that, Jerry? Hmm.
I went, I went, okay, Jerry, and I just like went back to what I was doing because I was like, all right, Jerry. That's just how I cope, I guess, with the work instances. Um,
Yeah. Could you
so
imagine the spirit being like, God damn it, my name is not Jerry. This lady doesn't get it. It's not Jerry.
one of these days we're literally gonna hear over the loudspeaker, "My name's not Jerry," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, I guess he's not Jerry." But
Were you
until
Karen?
then, I was gonna say, until then, he's staying Jerry, or they are staying Jerry. Because there's been multiple times where I thought I've seen a guy figure, heard guy
Mm.
voice, footsteps, whatever, and then also kid, you know, all that stuff, or young. I was gonna say my age, but I'm old as hell, so,
That's a good
uh,
mix.
yeah, like probably your age, I would say. Um,
Okay.
so there's been three different types that I've witnessed or heard myself, when I've been with other people. So,
Mm-hmm.
there's been, so there was that last night. Multiple times, my manager and I have been talking about something, and we heard glass break, and we're like, oh, frame or something just fell, and we have to go clean it up. And both of us are like, ugh. So we go over to any area where there could be glass, and nothing. Nothing on the floor, nothing
Wow.
broken, nothing. And that's happened, I think, 2 or 3 times.
Wow.
And eventually we just like, okay, we'll find it. We're not going to deal with this right now. We'll find it if it's something. Um,
Yeah.
and other times it's been in the bin that we put broken glass into. That's
Mm.
shifted or shook or whatever, and we've heard that. And I'm like, okay, that's weird because it's literally
Yeah.
staying in the same spot, not moving at all. Nobody's put
Yeah.
anything into it. Nobody's touched it. Nobody's gone near it. And then all of a sudden it just shakes and like hear the glass in it. And I'm like, okay. It's like,
Oh my
okay.
God. She's
Um, yeah,
she just
it
whipped her
scared
head
me.
back and yelped at me.
Um, so that scared me before because we
Where
keep
I
that
work.
bin right around the attic
Mm-hmm.
that I've literally jumped out of my skin because the thing has it sounded like somebody just threw another sheet of glass into it, but I
Wow.
didn't touch it. Nothing wasn't near it. Nothing. So, um, that was kind of crazy. But that also could be
That is
explained by
not.
this glass that's in it shifting or something was unstably put in there and it could have moved or whatever. So I'm like, that's not that big of a deal. Um, but then there's been other times where only just recently, within the past couple weeks, my one of my managers has told me, um, that she was out back and she thought somebody was out back with her because one of the boxes, big boxes that holds something heavy. So it's a heavy big box that was stacked on top of another heavy big box, completely stable, literally just stacked evenly on top of each other. Top one
Yeah.
falls off the other one. And she was like, "All right,
Right.
who's back here? What are they trying to get to? Whatever." She was like, what? And there's nobody around. Doors not swinging like somebody came back there. Literally
Yeah.
nobody around. And that
Yeah.
same night, my actual store manager was out back, and he doesn't believe in this stuff at all. He was out back by the cardboard, the compactor or
Mm-hmm.
whatever that you throw like cardboard
Oh
boxes
yeah.
into for recycling or whatever. Yeah. Um, he was over there and he was cutting up boxes and throwing them in the compactor and stuff. And he was looking down, cutting something, and he saw a shadow coming up, like somebody's walking up. So he
Mm,
stopped and he looked up and there was nobody there.
that's so
And
spooky.
I 100% believe him when he says anything because he does not believe in this stuff at all. So he was like,
Yeah.
that freaked me out, not gonna lie. um and
Yeah, it
then
would
there's
me
been
too. I'd be like, oh heck no.
I know. And then there's our intercom system is not like there's no phone or anything that is accessible to anybody else
Hmm.
in the store besides people who
Right.
have a handheld device.
All
So
right.
and there's only usually 3 or 4 people working at a time, so there's only 4 people who could have access, and you're told to keep it on you at all times.
Yeah.
You can't put it down anywhere and leave it whatever. um
Yeah.
and plus, if anyone actually found it, there's not like a button that says intercom or anything. You have to know which program to go into and hit the intercom
Yeah.
button, and then you have to wait, and then it makes a noise and all the stuff. So um so multiple times we've had the noise go off, like the intercom's
Oh.
coming on, and I was talking to my manager, or the manager working or whatever. There's only one other person in the store at the time up front as a cashier, and we're standing there. We looked at each other and we were like, what the hell? Because the noise came on, and then we hear hmm? And then
Like a
nothing.
laugh?
Little laugh and nothing.
Oh my god.
And I was like, and she goes, okay. And it sounded like a young girl, and like a child. And we were like, okay,
Yeah.
that cannot be the person who's up front either, because they're obviously older. That's not their voice. And we just sat there staring at each other like, what just
Mm.
happened?
That's so
um
scary.
and then she said that she's been working also a few times and heard um the intercom noise come on, and then a little voice goes, hello. And
Hello?
she's like, hello. Yeah.
Heck no.
Yeah. So she's heard hello twice and heard laughing, and then I believe there was another time it happened, and it said, where are you?
Okay, where
And
are you? Would have made me piss and shit my pants right on the spot. Maybe I would have threw up in there too. But I don't know, but like, I was definitely pissing.
yeah.
Like, get me out of here.
Yeah. So I was like, that one, I wasn't with anybody. I was in my area and they were on the floor. And I hear my manager goes over the thing and goes, please, 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 please tell me that was one of you guys. And I was like, nope,
Wrong.
not me. And then my coworker goes, yeah, not me either. And we are just all quiet after that. We are like, yeah,
Holy
that,
moly.
because that was like an older, it sounded like an older guy, and we had no older guys working there at that time.
Wow.
So we were just like, well, okay, that's that. Um, and then there was, oh, the footsteps. I hear footsteps all the time. And actually,
Oh.
and this was probably a couple weeks ago. Um, I was, again, trying not to give away where I work. Um, let's just say not facing the the door into the area where I work. So there's like a doorway area, and then where I spend most of my time. And I had my
Yeah.
back to that area, but I had in between the door and me, there's a counter, and
Okay.
it's a pretty big counter. And I'm facing away from the door with my back to the counter, probably a couple feet in front of that. And I hear this running up behind me. And I was like, oh my God. And I almost dropped what I was doing, but I was like, I can't drop this. So I put it down and then turned around 100% expecting a little kid to have run in behind me, see a little kid running around or something. Nobody there.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it afterwards and I was like, oh, wait, where I heard the noise coming from, you would have had to run through the counter. I was like, from the door through the counter because it was right up directly behind me. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But like, sicko.
Sorry. Oh, Sika, stop. She's getting pissed off because I'm brushing her ass. And then
Stop,
she, she keeps
stop
getting
brushing
a
your ass.
mouthful of her hair and she's mad about it. And she's
Uh,
like trying to spit it out. And she,
all
damn,
right.
girl, that's the whole ball.
um,
She hates being brushed, but she needs it.
what, what a brat. um,
Oh,
so can I finish, please? Thank you.
I know. All right, I'm gonna mute it so that we can talk.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, so there was that time, and then I've also heard footsteps just walking behind me when I've gone to go out to the back room. And one of the creepier ones was after we were closed one day. Oh, there's two really creepy ones after we were closed. And it was me, my manager, and our other coworker, all three females. But we were all in the break room ready to punch out. And I'm the closest to the door, and I'm standing there, and all of a sudden I hear laughter from outside across the store. And I'm like,
Oh, heck no.
yeah, I back
It's
up
almost
out
like
the
it's
door.
taunting you.
Yeah. um, I back up out the door and I'm looking and I'm just listening and I'm like, what the hell? And my manager looks at me and goes, what did you see something? Did you hear something? I go, laughing. And I walked out onto the floor and I was checking in between aisles and walking back and forth and I was like, there's literally nobody here but us, right? She's like, yeah, the store's closed, everything's locked, nobody's been here for like whatever. And I had to go out and check to see if the door was actually still locked because I was like, somebody had to have gotten in. And the door wasn't open. It was locked. So it was like, okay. I don't know how that happened, but I heard laughter coming from across the store. And I was like, that's crazy. And that freaked my manager out because she saw the look on my face and I was white.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my
uh,
God.
so, and then the other one was also when we were closed. And I went up front to see if they needed help because I finished what I was doing. And I was like, oh, do you guys need help with anything up here? And she was, my manager, it was only my manager and the other female working. And she goes, oh, can you run this back to whatever department over near the back? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she goes, oh, on your way, double check to make sure nobody's in here because we just locked the doors, but we want to make sure that, like, there's nobody here. I was like, no problem. So I'm walking back towards the back of the store and I'm quickly turning my head down each aisle as I'm walking down. And I'm like, okay, good, 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 good. And I get to one aisle and I turn my head and I had kept walking because I was not expecting to see anybody. So I was like just walking pretty quickly and turning my head. And then I stopped because I saw it was either somebody all dressed in black or a shadow figure
Oh,
reaching up
shoot.
to the top shelf.
Yeah.
And I had stopped and I went, oh. And I backed up to tell them that we were closed, that they needed to leave. And they were gone. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh. So I backed up more to the other aisle. There was nobody there. I was like, okay. So I go to the other side, down the aisle to the other side, because they got to be in between aisles or something.
Hmm.
Nobody there. I went back and retraced all my steps, all the way down, all the way back up, a whole area. Nobody. And
Oh
I went
my
over the thing and I
gosh.
went, so I just saw somebody in aisle whatever that doesn't exist.
Oh
And
my God.
they were like, okay. And the
It's
funny
time to
thing
clock
is,
out.
the funny thing is, that's the aisle that we hear boxes fall from all the time because there's little tiny
Oh,
boxes or whatever in that
yeah.
aisle. We hear those fall all the time, but then when somebody goes to pick them up, they're not on the floor or anything.
Oh.
It's just the noise of the boxes falling.
Girl, you
So
make me want
it's
to work there with you.
I mean, I think we're hiring. But yeah, so that's basically. Oh, there was another time. I'm skeptical about this one, but I also believe her because of how she told me the story. But one of the other, not managers, but like people key holder type, she can close also. Um, she's like a manager, but not management in the title. She was closing one night and she went and checked the bathrooms, and because you have to check the bathrooms after you lock up, you check the bathrooms, make sure nobody's in there, check the room, make sure nobody's not in there. So she did all that and everything was fine. And went, closed the store, then came back the next morning to open. And she went to go to the break room, and the break room's right across from the bathroom. And she looked at the bathroom door, and there's a bloody handprint on the bathroom door.
A
And she was
bloody
like,
handprint?
a bloody handprint. And
Oh my God.
and she was like, that was not there last night. And there's nobody else in the store right now besides her and the one coworker that's literally right next to her. So she's like,
Wow.
what happened? How did that happen? And why is it there?
Yeah. Oh
Um,
my God.
so I'm like, she 100% believes that it's something put the handprint there, but I was like, I don't know, man. That could be anything. I don't know. But I was like, I'm trying not to believe that because I'm like, that's just creepy.
No, that's
So
super
yeah,
creepy. I would have gone home. I'd be like, nope, no, no.
I think she wanted to. I think she almost cried that day. But
Yeah, that's scary.
besides there's like lights flickering and like the monitors, the TV monitors and everything flickering. That was pretty normal. So I say normal, but I don't know. That could be anything. But yeah, pretty creepy. But that's pretty much it for that place.
That's freaking nuts.
All right, so um the last I don't really have that many stories for this last place, but um I guess I'll just get right into it. It's somewhere I used to work. It's just a body shop, I will say.
Hmm.
It was in the mall, and multiple instances of my manager thinking that I called her name, and so she would come out and say, "Oh, what?" And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "Oh, you called me?" No, nope, I did not.
That's
And she's like,
spooky.
"Yeah," she's like, "No, you definitely called my name," and I was like, "No, I did not. Didn't literally didn't." So she's like, "Okay." And then there's one time that I like that happened, and then like 20 minutes later, I heard no, I had heard my name called first by her, and I was like, "Hey, what'd you want?" And she goes, "I didn't call you." And I'm like, "Yeah, you did. I definitely heard your voice call my name." And she was like, "No, I definitely didn't call you." And I was very confused by it because I just definitely heard her voice say my name. So I went back to work, and then about 20 minutes later, she comes out and she goes, "What?" And I turn around, I go, "What?" She goes, "You just called me." And I go, "Nope, it wasn't me." And she goes, "No, I heard your voice call my name." And I go, "Really?" And she just looks at me and she goes, "Well, I guess I know how you feel now." And I was like, "Yeah, because I definitely didn't call your name. You definitely didn't call my name. So there we go." Um, so there was multiple times that happened with multiple different people too, thinking that we all called each other's names, and it didn't happen. Um,
Wow.
yeah. And then what else? There's one time that I was fixing candles, and
Hmm.
there was the large candles that we had, and then there's smaller ones that were like maybe like 2 inches tall around, and it was like little plastic, like hard plastic. and the larger candles were on the top shelf, and then there was like the smaller ones, and then more larger ones, and then there was the top of a cabinet that we kept extra stuff under, extra product and stuff under in those cabinets, but it was like top
Yeah.
of that area, and it was wooden, kind of like a shelf, but like a shelf of a shelf. It came out pretty far. There's probably like a foot of space, and then the shelf where we would stack the candles. So I was fixing the top row of candles and pushing them forward and getting them all, taking them from the bottom cabinet and putting them up top and fixing it, making it look nice and all that. And I got to this one spot and I looked down at this one candle because it had moved a little, I guess. And I was like, oh, and I looked at it and it hopped off the shelf and
Oh my
hit me.
gosh. Oh,
Hit me in the chest and then fell to the
oh
ground.
my
And I was like,
gosh.
and I kind of stopped and went, hello?
You're like, okay, that just happened.
Yeah. And I was like, and I looked around and I went, did anyone else see that? And my manager goes, so see what? And I go, the candle just leaped off the shelf. And she goes, oh, you mean it fell? It like just fell over, fell off the shelf. I go, no, it leaped off the shelf and hit me in the chest. And she goes, yeah, okay. And I was like,
She's like, okay, you're
no,
crazy.
literally. I go, it leaped off the shelf. I picked up the candle and I put it back. And I go, it leaped off the shelf and hit me in the chest and then fell to the ground. And she goes,
Yeah, like look at the freaking security footage.
there's no security.
Oh no.
There's no security cameras in there. So I literally was like, great, that's awesome. Nobody's going to believe me. That's cool. And
Yeah.
then, because like if it had just fallen, if I had hit the shelf and accident or shook something and it fell, it would have fallen straight down, hit the shelf that comes out, or one part that comes out further, would have hit
Hmm.
that and then rolled off and fell onto the ground. But this literally
Wow.
did not touch that shelf that came out. It went past it, hit me, and fell to the ground. And I was like, oh. It's like someone's throwing candles at me. That's cool. Glad it wasn't a big one, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
That would have
that
been
was like
so scary if it was
it was
like
creepy.
large candle.
I know
That
it
would
would
have
have like
hurt.
it would have hurt, and it would have been a huge mess to clean up. But
Yeah.
uh, so that's my
Damn, bro.
all my work stories. Oh, not all my work stories, but all that I can really remember because
Mhm.
I don't remember my other. I've worked a ton of places, and I don't remember the other places ever having paranormal experiences before.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, so that's all of mine. You got any more?
No, all I can really think of was the gas station and then working at the US Ghost Adventures for Lizzie Borden. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess I mean it's like a 2 second story, so I won't tell it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but really it was like my first job ever. I was working in fast food and it was supposed that that area was haunted or that building was haunted. And it's fast food. So you're not like, oh, okay, this is some creepy ambiance. It's not haunted. No, no, some weird shit would happen. Like the mops would get moved around by themselves and occasionally stuff would fall or spill by themselves, but we haven't really had much for like shadow figures or weird things like that happen, but it definitely had something going on.
Yeah, that's see, any place could be haunted and we just don't know it.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like
Just
thinking
so
about
weird. Yeah.
think about all the places I've gone into and I've just been like, I don't like this vibe, and then I leave because I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like I just did that with a store. I went to Foxwoods a couple weeks ago and walked
Uh-huh.
into a store and I was like, I don't like this vibe, and I walked out immediately. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't like this. But
I'm like that
yeah.
with some places in the mall. I just don't go down to where you were talking about where Bath and Body Works used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't go down there. It's too creepy. So
Yeah.
eerie. If my husband wants to go down to Man's Macy's, that's the only
Mm-hmm.
time I go down that way.
Yeah, the that whole area is so weird because there's the bright, shiny, I want to say main mall, which is the main, like
Yeah.
it's the main thing, and then there's that corridor, which isn't even a small
Yeah.
corridor or anything. It's like
Oh, but it's kind
a
of dark
decent
and
size,
dingy.
but it's darker than the rest of the mall, and I'm like,
Yeah.
why is it so dark over here? Nobody
Yeah.
knows the shit's over here because they probably walk by and look down it and go, "Ooh, no, that's bad vibes," and then keep walking. It's like
Yeah.
it's like darker area, and I was like, that's really creepy. Because
No,
like
it is.
if you walk through the mall from like one end to the other, it's like lit up, lots of natural
Yeah.
sunlight. It's pretty decent, and then
Well, even like
you
that back area, kind of by Target, that wing is pretty bright too. It's just that
yeah,
one area that we're talking about that it's super
yeah,
dark.
and I don't get it. I don't get
Yeah.
why it's like that, but it's definitely a a creepy vibe over there. And I was like, I kind of
Mhm.
feel like that's part of the reason why things happened over there when the store was over there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, because I worked next door at Claire's too at one point, and never had any paranormal thing ever happen at Claire's, but at Bath and Body Works, yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely some stuff. But I feel like Claire's is closest to the or closer to the light, so
Yeah.
maybe
I
that's
like
why.
Claire's.
All right,
Yeah.
so no more work stories, huh? All
No.
right.
I wish I
Um,
had more.
all right, I guess that's it. So, thank you everybody for tuning in to this week's episode of The Spooky Den with Lily and Jen. And
Woo
I
woo.
hope you enjoyed our stories. Um, sorry, this is it's kind of like a more personal one, work related one, but we get into the spooky vibes a little bit anyway.
Mhm.
But we have a lot of more plans for this. Um, some planned episodes coming up, some more cool things to talk about. And I hope you guys all stick around because this is episode 3. And it's episode 3 out of 565,000 episodes. So, because we're going forever and ever, ever.
Hell yeah.
um, so, yeah, do you have anything else to say, Lily, before we go?
I think I think that's it. But yes, please stay tuned for all of our future fun videos.
Yeah,
And we can't wait to share them with you guys.
I know. It's so exciting. Sorry. All right.
Because soon we're gonna be going digital, and you'll actually be able to see things.
Oh yes, video. We're gonna get video going soon. Um,
Mhm.
and uh, yeah, and then oh, I don't want to say anything to spoil it, but can't wait. Can't freaking wait, man. All right. So thank you all for coming by. We'll see you, hear you next week. Uh, I keep saying that, and I'm like, maybe that should just be the thing I say. We'll see you, hear you next week. But we really won't. You'll see and hear us, maybe. Um, but you'll definitely hear us, but I don't know about see us.
There.
Thank you for coming by today and listening. And if you're on YouTube, why not subscribe? Then you get these
Yeah.
episodes as soon as they come out, and you don't miss any. First of all, you get that notification bell turned on. Boom. It's right there, right where you want it. And then, yeah, if you subscribe, you like the thing, like what we're talking about, leave a comment too if you hate us, if you love us. Well, if you hate us, be gentle. We're fragile. If you like us, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like. We are up for criticism, but just,
Hmm.
you know, be cool about it. So I guess that's all I got to say. And
Woohoo.
we will catch y'all next week. Bye.
See you guys next week. Peace out.